It's so nice to do.
Once, there was a glorious kingdom established among the heavens. From that
Children, come, come. You've arrived at just the right moment. I've been looking for you.
Oh, what is it, Granny? Need any help?
Oh, no. You've done so much for Leah Harbor already. I could hardly ask for more. In fact, my old friends and I have been putting our heads together to think of what sort of gift we might give you in return.
A gift? For Paimon?
Oh, child, you are so very modest. Uncommonly so, even. But you mustn't decline this gift. I simply won't allow it. When you traversed my old teapot in search of the cleansing bell, I heard your little friend mention that you often camp out in the wilds. That simply won't do, especially since I imagine you still have a very long journey ahead of you. Fortunately, I have not yet grown so old as to see my subspace creation abilities atrophy. Oh, did my friends never mention that to you? Well then, it is a blessing we old folks once received from Rex Lapis, part of our illumination, if you will. I will not go into too much detail, but subspace creation is the ability to create a small, autonomous pocket world. The teapot that you entered previously was a little trinket created using that ability.
So, in the eyes of an adeptus, creating a magic teapot world is just child's play, huh?
Oh, indeed, the teapot is nothing to boast of. One such as myself must depart from this realm to create a world of one's own. Rex Lapis, on the other hand, moved mountains and seas. That is what one might call an exercise of true power. But that's enough nostalgia for now. The gift that I have prepared for you just requires a few final materials to add the finishing touch.
That's right! Finding stuff's what we're good at, after all!
Oh, settle down now, children. There's no need for you to go running hither and thither. I have already found a fleet-footed youngster to prepare what I need. What's more, I doubt that you would know how to find the materials I am searching for. Some of them are very rare indeed these days. Well, for starters, I require some shimmer soil from the banks of Dihua Marsh. Back in the day, it could only be found where the glazed lilies thrived most profusely. You would have to dig downward, following the roots of the glazed lilies, and if you were lucky enough, you just might find a small patch of shimmer soil there. But almost no one has been able to find shimmer soil in this manner since Dihua Marsh came to be the way it is today. Even more difficult to find is smaragdus jadeite, which must be chiseled from the rock of the chasm. Or so it used to be. Ever since the Blackcliff Forge opened for business, they've slowly but surely stripped the mines all but completely bare of it. In any case, smaragdus jadeite is an adepti treasure, and the adeptal power within is not something that most humans can withstand. Extended contact with it is, in fact, harmful to humans. Goodness knows if that child will succeed in finding these items.
Well, since you're an Adeptus, Granny, the person you asked for help, they must be an Adeptus too, right?
Yes. I suppose she does count as an Adeptus.
She counts? How come there are so many Adepti in Liyue Harbor? We seem to bump into them all the time. It feels like even when you go out to eat, you could be sitting next to an Adeptus and never even know it.
Oh, maybe so. Who can say? A fair few of my old friends are rather fond of mundane mortal life, after all.
I'm back, Granny. Oh, I don't believe we've met.
Allow me to do the honors. This child here is Yanfei. She's the one helping run some errands for me. Yanfei, I believe you already heard of the traveler and his traveling companion.
Of course, who hasn't? Much has been written about you in the Millilith's records. You became one of Liyue's most wanted after the Millilith marked you as a suspect following the incident at the Rite of Dissension. After which, you fought off the Millilith at Julian Karst and made contact with the Fatui. Before finally defeating an ancient god together with Granny and her associates, and subsequently being cleared of any and all suspicion by the Chiseng. What a shame. A shame that we didn't meet sooner. If we had, well, I can't say that I would have been able to clear you of suspicion immediately, but it certainly would have been less, embarrassing for you. Allow me to introduce myself once more. I'm Yanfei, a legal advisor. Got a legal problem? You can come right to me. Oh, yes, here's my business card. You'll find it has my contact details and office address. Keep it handy. If you have an urgent issue, just leave me a note at this address. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, I offer a very generous discount for first-time customers.
All right, Yanfei, all right. Let's get to the business at hand. I do not think these two are in any dire need of legal assistance at the moment. You'll have to excuse Yanfei. She's always been like this, ever the talkative one when it comes to her own affairs.
Paimon was gonna ask the same question. You seem really different from the ones we've met before.
An Adeptus? I guess. Kinda. My old man said he was one anyway. He mentioned that he once campaigned with Rex Lapis for a long old time, and then after that was all over, he went back and married my mom. They had me, and once I was all grown up, the two of them upped and left on a journey, leaving me with Granny here.
Well, that's a bit casual for an Adeptus. Aren't you guys supposed to sign solemn contracts to protect Liyue Harbor and all that stuff? What do you mean he just went back to get married?
Well, My dad did say that he'd talked it through with Rex Lapis and that he was fine with it. Even contributed towards the wedding gift, apparently. Anyway, let's not dwell on that too much. So, Granny, I've gotten a hold of most of the stuff you asked for, except for Smaragdus Jadeite. I couldn't find any at all. The chasm's been sealed off, and there's just no way in. Couldn't secure any documentation either. Looks like the Ministry of Civil Affairs is serious about keeping it strictly locked down.
Is that so? But Smaragdus Jadeite is really rather essential. Yanfei, are you sure you can't find some other way? They have helped Liyue greatly after all. It is only right that they are duly rewarded.
I know, Granny, you've told me 1,000 times already. Well, the chasm's definitely a no-go, but there's still a chance we can figure out some alternative means of procurement. Hold on a moment. Let me have a look.
Whoa, that's a really thick book. What kind of things do you write in there?
Commercial consultancy. Or Snezhnaya. Ah, found him. Krusel. A Snezhnayan merchant who once came to me with some legal queries on certain articles in the legal codices. If my memory serves, all of them had to do with rare ores. He mentioned that he was considering acquiring some Smaragdus Jadeite to make hairpins, and wanted to know if there were any legal ramifications that he should be aware of. Said he was planning to sell them in Snezhnaya. So, I guess I'll go look for him. With any luck, he'll have gotten his hands on some Smaragdus Jadeite, or might have an idea of where we can find some. Oh, you want to join me? I suppose that's no problem, but it's best if you just stand by and watch. If you try to get involved, you'll only risk placing yourself in legal jeopardy.
Wow, an Adeptus imploring us to avoid incurring legal liability. Well, that's a first for sure. Best we be a little more careful than usual while we're with her.
Mr. Crossell. How's business been?
Oh, good, very good. All thanks to your advice, Miss Yanfei. What brings you here today?
You're too kind. I was simply doing my job. Now, I believe that the last time we met, you mentioned that you were looking to source some Smaragdus Jadeite to make hairpins. Have there been any further developments on this front?
Well, yes. As a matter of fact, in the end I did acquire a small piece of Smaragdus Jadeite and had it fashioned into a pair of hairpins. Miss Yanfei, might I presume that you have an interest in the hairpins? I must apologize. I've already rented them out to a lady named Zhi Qiao. If you'd like to inspect them, you may have to wait quite some time.
Wait, isn't Smaragdus Jadeite really rare? Aren't you worried about the hairpins getting damaged or lost while they're being rented out?
No, I'm not worried in the slightest, because I signed a contract with Miss Zhi Qiao before renting them to her. The contract makes it quite clear that if she loses or damages the item in question, she must compensate me for its full original value. In return, I included a clause that guarantees the Smaragdus Jadeite is genuine, with a penalty of 10 times the item's value payable by me to Ms. Zhi Qiao in the event that it is shown to be a fake.
Guaranteed genuine, with 10 times the value payable if this claim is shown to be false. Yes, these terms are very clear indeed.
Of course. This way, both the client and I have the assurance we need. To ensure fairness, each of us has retained an original copy of the contract.
In that case, might you know where Miss Zhi Qiao lives? We'd like to pay her a visit and have a look at the hairpins.
Oh, of course. She wrote her address down when we signed our contract. Here, I'll mark it on your map for you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Crossell. We'll be off now.
healthy body, healthy mind. Huh?
Oh, whatever shall I do? Yes, that's me. Is there something I can help you with?
How do you do, Monsieur Chow? We understand from Mr. Crossell that you recently rented a pair of hairpins from him. My associates and I are very interested in them. Would you mind letting us take a look at them?
The hairpins? I can't lend them to you right now. I've lost them. I don't know how it could have happened. I always kept them right by my side, and I hadn't even worn them yet. I spent so much money on them. If I have to pay their original value, there's no way I could come up with that amount of money on such short notice. My family is in the ore business too, but business has been suffering ever since the chasm was sealed off. We now have a backlog of paid-up orders just sitting around, so we've been having to purchase some stock from other ore merchants to complete them. A big banquet is coming up in a few days, and several ore merchants I know of will be there. I need this opportunity to mingle and discuss prices. And that's what the hairpins were for, to keep up appearances. I can't have them looking down on me. But now that I've lost the hairpins, what will I do?
Why does Paimon have a sudden strong sense of deja vu?
Would you really? I sent a commission to the Adventurers Guild, but I haven't heard anything back from them yet.
Hold on. Don't run off looking for the hairpins just yet. Monsieur Chow, would you let me have a look at the rental contract you signed?
Huh? Well, sure, I have it right here. Here you are.
Let me see.
That's right! Yanfei said she's a legal advisor, didn't she? Maybe she can help Zhuqiao somehow. True. Though surely there must be a win-win solution.
Right. I finished reading the contract. The terms are very clear, and they do indeed stipulate that you must pay Mr. Crossell the original value of the hairpins as compensation for the loss. Furthermore, the contract also expressly states that the amount of compensation must take current market prices into account. And given the rarity of Smaragdus Jadeite, I fear that the final amount of compensation may end up being significantly higher as a result.
Even higher? Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Zhuqiao looks like she's about to faint.
However, all of this is assuming that it is indeed genuine Smaragdus Jadeite that was inlaid into the hairpins.
Did you really have to pause before saying that part? Anyway, the hairpins are lost, so how exactly would we be able to find out if the jadeite is genuine or not? Whichever way you look at it, we've got to start by finding those hairpins.
Except that if we found the hairpins, there'd no longer be any need to check whether the jadeite is genuine, would there?
Seems right.
Please. Please, don't trouble yourselves over this. The fact is, I lost the item, and I should pay compensation per the contract. However much it is, I will have to pay it. My family are merchants, after all. It's vital that we keep our word and respect our contracts. Now that it's come to this, I really shouldn't keep Crossell in the dark any longer. I'll go and inform him of the issue, and then negotiate the amount of compensation.
Yes, legally speaking, it seems this is the most sensible course of action. But before that, I have some questions about the hairpins. So hold on a moment, Monsieur Chow. When you first touched the hairpins, what did you feel?
What did I feel? Well, I remember that the gemstones set into the pins were perfectly smooth to the touch, like the finest quality jade. My family has seen much jade pass through its hands in the past, so I am quite certain of my judgment in this matter.
Smooth to the touch. Finest quality. No, it's nothing. I just need to re-examine a few things. Let's head over to Mr. Crossel's.
Fire hazard right here.
Ah, Miss Yanfei, you've returned. With Miss Zhiqiao in tow, too, I see. How are the hairpins? I trust you're quite satisfied with them?
About that.
You lost them? Are you serious? Do you have any idea how expensive they were?
I'm sorry. Truly I am. I'll pay the compensation as per our contract. Every last mora.
Mora? Do you have any idea what I had to go through to get my hands on that smaragdus jadeite? I just don't... Forget it. Talking won't bring them back. Since Miss Yanfei is here, I suppose we can just have her estimate the amount that needs to be paid.
No problem. But before I can give an official estimate, I'll need to do a little market research. Ah, yes, and if I may just confirm again, it was in fact genuine smaragdus jadeite inlaid into the hairpins, correct?
Of course. Genuine article guaranteed, or I pay back 10 times the value.
All right, understood. I'll conduct some market research, and once I'm back, I'll provide an official assessment of the sum owed by Mr. Chow in compensation. Please wait here, Mr. Crossell.
Thank you very much. How could she lose my hairpins? She'd better pay every last mora that they're worth.
Looks like I'll have to find some way to raise that money.
Please wait, Mr. Chow. I have something to discuss with you. It's not convenient to speak here, so let's find somewhere that we can sit and talk in more detail.
My friend, what can I get you?
Next on the agenda...
Try your luck betting on Jade?
Miss Yanfei, what is this about? Are you here to tell me how much I owe?
No. What I wanted to talk about is, there is a chance that the ore inlaid on those hairpins may not be smaragdus jadeite after all.
What do you mean? Are you implying that you already sneaked off and found them?
Obviously not. I'm no adventurer, let alone a member of the guild. I don't run thankless, time-consuming errands for a living. Let's just say I made some deductions. I don't know if Granny told you this, but smaragdus jadeite is found deep underground and contains very concentrated elemental energy. If mere mortals come into contact with it, well, they'll be sick in the best case. And in the worst case, they could even experience a dramatic change of personality. It most certainly would not be smooth to the touch. Mr. Chow, did you at any time feel unwell while the hairpins were in your possession?
No, not at all. I felt perfectly fine the whole time. Not even the slightest bit unwell. I didn't feel anything special at all, in fact.
Now that is strange. I noticed earlier that there were elemental traces in Mr. Crossell's vicinity. If I've deduced correctly, he may still have the smaragdus jadeite in his possession.
If that's the case, we should go confront him right now and expose his dirty scam right to his face!
Absolutely not. If we were to confront him now, there's no way he would admit to it. Eventually, he would find some argument to compel us to leave. and then he'd throw the Smaragdus Jadeite into the sea the moment we were gone. After that, he would simply insist that Mr. Chow pay up per the contract. He would lose nothing. Meanwhile, we would have to look under every stone in Liyue, hoping and praying that the hairpins do actually still exist somewhere in this world.
So vivid that Paimon thinks it might be experience talking.
Oh, it certainly is. I've seen my fair share of situations like this, and brute force methods are certainly one way of resolving them. Fortunately, I have far more elegant solutions at my disposal. I'll share them with you in due course.
Well then, since you're so experienced in dealing with problems like this, perhaps you could help me, Miss Yanfei.
Oh, that won't be a problem. But first, Mr. Chow, can I ask you to please sign this contract?
Huh? Does there have to be a contract for everything? Paimon can't even keep track. It feels like Yanfei is even more concerned with them than a certain someone else we know.
These are my formal terms of engagement. Everything prior to now has just been pro bono advice. But for me to investigate any further, I require a written contract. Any work commissioned but not bound by a contract cannot be relied upon.
I understand. Then I will be glad to place this matter into your capable hands if you will take it, Miss Yanfei.
No problem. Just sign here, and I'll sign too. Okay. Now write your address here, and then sign on this page as well. And I'll also need your signatures on pages 5, 7, and on the very last page. Finally, if you could just use this ink pad to make a handprint over here.
This contract has so many pages. Paimon's all out of brain juice again.
Alright, that should do it. My fees are the same as always, and they're written in the contract. Have a look through and let me know if you have any questions.
I've had a read through. Everything checks out.
Well then, here's your copy of the contract. I will retain the other copy. Not for now, no. Despite how intractable this problem might sound, it will actually be quite straightforward to resolve, once we've got some things squared away. I don't believe you have been part of an investigation like this before, in which case, hopefully this should be quite the experience.
Miss Yanfei, I have to ask, why are you helping me?
Because, as it happens, I'm currently trying to acquire some Smaragdus Jadeite myself. I noticed strong traces of geoenergy around Mr. Crossel, so perhaps he has, in fact, secured some. Whether he actually made it into an item of jewelry or not is a separate matter, but either way, it's a lead. As long as we follow it, who knows? We might just be able to get our hands on some Smaragdus Jadeite. Also, the idea of someone abusing the law to their advantage, I won't stand for it. But again, let's not dwell on this. Let's go to... where can we find someone who processes ore? Ha! I've got it! Let's pay a visit to Chateau, the boss of the Jade Mystery. He's a professional when it comes to working with stone and ore. If Mr. Crossel had his ore worked on at all, Chateau would undoubtedly have been his first choice.
Let me tell you how.
Why, hello there, honored customers. Welcome to... Oh! It's you, Miss Yanfei. Is something the matter? Surely not more spurious claims that my jade betting is rigged and no one can ever win? Oh, I swear on all that is sacred.
No, nothing of the sort. Has a Snezhnine merchant named Crossel enlisted your ore processing services recently by any chance?
A Snezhnine merchant named Crossel, you say? I do remember that. He brought me a piece of ore, claiming that it was Smaragdus Jadeite. That was the first time I'd ever encountered it, so I had no way of telling if it was really Smaragdus Jadeite or not. But if a customer insists, far be it from me to contradict them. He was quite generous with his money, too, so I didn't give it too much thought. I processed the ore as per his request.
Do you have any leftover debris from your work on it?
Why, yes. It was my first time encountering this ore, after all, so I kept a few loose shavings to study myself later. They're right over there, in fact.
Thank you, sir. We'll take a look at them.
Huh? If my eyes don't deceive me, the cross-sections and patterning suggest that these are Smaragdus nephrite shavings. Yes, it's not particularly rare, nor is it especially valuable. It's used to make jewelry all the time. I've heard it said that Smaragdus nephrite is in fact the outer layer of Smaragdus jadeite, though no one's ever proven it.
A thin layer of separation, huh?
If you must see for yourself, try examining these shavings for traces of elemental energy. Smaragdus nephrite is an entirely ordinary ore, containing no elemental energy whatsoever.
Is that so? Well, we might as well give elemental sight a shot. So, did you find anything? So they really are different. But wait, how come Jichao was able to tell what it was just by looking at the shards? That's pretty awesome.
There's nothing special to it. It just so happens that I've come across a great many of these in my time. These two stones actually look very similar. Someone without a deep understanding of them would find it very difficult to tell them apart. There may be only a subtle difference for the casual viewer, but that translates to an astronomical difference in terms of the market price. And, I'm sure, a significant difference in the cost of having them carved into shape.
All right, let's focus up. We're going off on a tangent.
But, never mind, Shirto. Why would Mr. Crossell...
Unusual actions have unusual reasons behind them. Let's take some of these... If you could
Miss
just confirm for me
Yanfei,
once more, sir.
might I
Mr.
be
Crossell
so
did indeed
bold as
claim
to
that the ore he brought to your
inquire,
store was in fact Smaragdus jadeite, did he not?
Yes, that's right. I still have a record of the job with me, in fact. Here. It says quite clearly, 1 chunk Smaragdus jadeite, uncut.
Then I have no further questions. But could I borrow the processing record and these stone shavings?
Of course. But might I ask why you need them?
Oh, I have my reasons. Yes. Please sign here on this affidavit. This document shall serve as signed proof that these stone shavings originated from the, ore that Mr. Crossell brought to your store. Please read it carefully.
Yes, I see. Forgive me for asking again, Miss Yanfei, but might I know the nature?
I wouldn't say there's been an incident, just a minor issue. Thank you, sir. I'll take these with me.
With this hard evidence to back us up, Crossell won't dare try to deny what he did.
On the contrary, this is far from sufficient to build a case. We need to find something a little more compelling. If you want to make jewelry, you need a professional jewelsmith. Let me think. Jewelry. Nope. Aha! Got it! Sinxie. She often helps people to find a jewelsmith. Let's go pay her a visit.
Well, that was quick. How come you know so many people?
Because lots of people come to me for legal advice every day. As you know, Liyue Harbor is the city of contracts. And contracts, well, I should say laws, are very important to us. But the amendments made by the Tianquan to our laws are unnecessarily complicated. How can I put this? It just seems like they're hard to understand and impossible to finish. As such, legal advisors like myself provide quite the popular service indeed.
So you help them make sense of the law. But didn't you say that it's hard to understand and impossible to finish?
Yes, well, that's no obstacle because I've memorized all the legal codices.
You memorized them?
You sound surprised. Knowing the law inside out is a legal advisor's bread and butter, you know? Oh, this has nothing to do with being an adeptus. I just like reading things.
Again, with that casual tone.
Well, that's that then. Let's go look for Singsi. We're way behind schedule. Next on the agenda. We're way behind schedule.
Join the Adventurers Guild.
Next on the agenda.
Oh, Miss Yanfei, it's you. Has something happened? Did the client from last time...
Have no further trouble from then on? Yes, of course. I'm just here to ask you a few questions. Has a merchant by the name of Crossel asked you to put him in contact with a jewelsmith recently?
Krosel? Yes, I remember him. He's a merchant from Snezhnaya, no? Yeah, he came to me with a chunk of something he called Smaragdus Jadeite. The design of the hairpins that he gave me was quite intricate, so it took me some work to find someone who was up to the job. Eventually, I found an older jewelsmith who made them exactly according to his specifications. This order was on hold for a very long time, and only completed quite recently, which is why I remember it so well.
Doesn't seem like there's any evidence to be found here.
Miss Singsi, I'd like for you to confirm for me once more. When Mr. Crossel commissioned you to find him a jewelsmith, did he or did he not assert that the material he presented to you that day was called Smaragdus Jadeite?
Yes, I'm sure of it. The hairpins were made using many expensive materials, and the asking price was quite high, so we had to put this transaction on record with the Ministry of Civil Affairs. Mr. Krosel wasn't very familiar with the necessary procedures, so I filed it on his behalf. I also kept a copy for my own records. See for yourself, the item is called Smaragdus Jadeite Twin Phoenix Pins. The inlaid gemstone is recorded as Smaragdus Jadeite. The document even has the official seal of the ministry on it.
Thank you, Singsi. Now, could you let me borrow this document?
Sure, it isn't serving much purpose here anyway. I take it then that there's been some more trouble?
Nothing you need to worry about, just a minor issue. I'll return your document as soon as I'm done with it. Thanks again!
Why is everyone's first reaction always to assume someone or something is in trouble?
I believe we have almost all the evidence we need. We just need to make one last trip. Let's go to Boo Boo Pharmacy to speak with Dr. Baiju.
The weirdo with the snake around his neck? What do you want to speak to him for?
Because only he can provide an authoritative statement confirming that Smaragdus Jadeite is harmful to the human body. Once we have this final piece of evidence in our hands, we can wrap this case up.
My, to what do I owe the pleasure? Though I'm afraid that if you're looking for our little Chi-Chi, she's out gathering herbs. And if it isn't Miss Yanfei as well, now that's an even rarer honor. What business brings you here, might I inquire? Some charlatans peddling ineffectual medicines again, no doubt?
No. I'm here this time to ask if you're familiar with Smaragdus Jadeite.
Smaragdus Jadeite? Why, yes, there is some information about it included in the 6th commentary on the 7 Mountain Treatises. The 7 Mountain Treatises states that this substance springs forth from stone marrow within the mountains, and will bring disaster to any mere mortals who touch it. It is abundant in elemental energy, so if someone without a vision is in contact with it for a prolonged period, best case scenario, they fall ill. Worst case scenario, they'll suffer great changes in personality, and their illness will only ever get worse. Anyway, I'm sure you didn't come all this way just to chit-chat. Knowing you, Yanfei, and given the specific nature of your question, I suppose that you're about to ask me to write an official affidavit attesting to the pharmaceutical peculiarities of Smaragdus Jadeite?
That is indeed the case. If you would be so kind, Dr. Baiju.
No trouble at all. It's just a single document. Won't take me a moment. I would mention, though, that you are not the only one who's developed a curiosity for Smaragdus Jadeite recently. A Snezhnayan merchant came to ask me about it not long ago. But after I gave him my reply, his expression shifted to one of remarkable disappointment. I wonder, Miss Yanfei, if your pressing business might be related to the Snezhnayan merchant?
You needn't concern yourself about that, Dr. Baiju. Thank you for penning us that document. I'll make sure to compensate you in due course.
You're too kind. Take care now.
That Baiju guy is as weird as ever.
What this says.
Is it just Paimon, or does it feel like he was fishing for something back there?
Dr. Baiju's always been like that. Well, we have the evidence we need. Let's go find Mr. Crossell.
Next on the agenda...
Miss Yanfei, have you finished your investigation? I trust you will now be in a position to assess the compensation due.
Yes, my investigation is indeed concluded. I can now provide a final figure for the amount payable.
Wonderful. Well then, please, could you do the honors, Miss Yanfei?
Of course. According to the stipulations of the contract, Mr. Crossell, you must pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original transaction price in Mora.
Sure. Wait, what? Me pay her? Surely there's been some kind of mistake, Miss Yanfei.
Not at all. According to my investigations and the material evidence that we've gathered, the substance claimed to be Smaragdus Jadeite that was inlaid within the Smaragdus Jadeite twin phoenix pins that you rented out to Mr. Chow was, in fact, Smaragdus Nephrite. Now, the contract states very clearly that 10 times the price shall be paid should the article not be genuine. Accordingly, you are liable for this sum, which is payable to Mr. Chow in Mora.
Material evidence? What material evidence? Why, Miss Yanfei, you cannot frame me like this! I spent a huge sum to obtain that Smaragdus Jadeite, and yet you claim that the ore inlaid on the hairpins is somehow fake? I demand to see your evidence.
Indeed. Only a testimony from an expert witness involved in the processing of the ore can serve as an authoritative assessment of whether it is genuine. Traveler, please produce the evidence in question. This is a processing record from the Jade Mystery, along with stone samples and an affidavit signed by the business owner, Chateau.
Seriously? Even the boss there couldn't differentiate between Smaragdus Jadeite and Smaragdus Nephrite. How does this prove anything? In any case, Smaragdus Nephrite is the outer layer of Smaragdus Jadeite. So I had him cut away the nephrite, he returned the valuable jadeite core to me, and some nephrite samples remain in the store. What am I missing exactly?
That's an unsubstantiated belief.
Well, your claim that my ore is fake is just as unsubstantiated. And we are here to talk about evidence, aren't we?
Ugh. Looks like our first piece of evidence didn't convince him at all. Seems like he came prepared. What should we do next?
Hard evidence, something legally binding. We have just the thing. Show him, Traveler.
This document proves that my hairpins are the real deal, doesn't it? This is the Ministry's seal, after all. It shows that the ore inlaid on the pins is indeed Smaragdus jadeite.
Our second piece of evidence didn't work either. And this guy's getting more belligerent by the second.
You know, you could be right. Perhaps the hairpins are the real deal after all.
Of course I'm right. All the evidence shown supports my story.
Well, hang on a moment now, because I do recall one final piece of evidence that we haven't revealed yet. Traveler, would you do the honors? This shall serve...
What's this?
Smaragdus jadeite springs forth from stone marrow within the mountains and will bring disaster to any mere mortals who touch it. Sustained contact with Smaragdus jadeite over a prolonged period will, in less serious cases, cause a mild malady, while in serious cases, the patient may suffer a dramatic change of personality and fall seriously ill. Mr. Crossell, were you aware of these peculiar properties of Smaragdus jadeite?
I had no idea.
No idea, you say? I'd guessed as much. But for you to have rented out such a dangerous item... I'm afraid that this falls outside the scope of my work, but within that of the Ministry of Civil Affairs. However, I'm sure that the Ministry will be relatively lenient considering that, as you say, you were ignorant of the danger you posed. Don't worry, Mr. Crossell. I will make sure that all the evidence presented here will be handed over to the Ministry. I trust that you'll give them your full cooperation in their investigations.
What? Wait! I knew.
Oh, so you knew? Oh, dear Mr. Crossell. But if you knew of Smaragdus jadeite's dangerous properties beforehand, why would you...
Huh? No, The hairpins aren't actually
inlaid with genuine Smaragdus jadeite? Is that what you were about to say? You do understand, Mr. Crossell, that this means that you will have to pay Ms. Sir Chow 10 times the original price in Mora? Mr. Crossell, your answer, please. My client and I are waiting.
Yanfei's seriously intimidating right now. It's like she's a different person.
I admit it. I confess. The ore I had inlaid on those hairpins was Smaragdus nephrite. But I'm a victim in all of this too. I invested a great deal of time and money into acquiring that small amount of Smaragdus jadeite, in the hopes of turning it into a piece of jewelry that would fetch a fine price. But after receiving it and carrying it around for a few days, I started to feel extreme discomfort. I couldn't sleep a wink or eat a single bite. I was in a constant state of agitation, too. I went to Boo Boo Pharmacy to get myself checked out, only to discover that this sort of stone cannot be worn as jewelry. But how could I let all that money go to waste? That's why I had another pair of hairpins made from Smaragdus nephrite, which is almost indistinguishable from Smaragdus jadeite. I kept the real Smaragdus jadeite in a specially made box. I daren't touch it again. I was worried that someone would see through it, which is why I only dared to rent them out, not sell them. And then to top it all off, Zhiqiao lost the hairpins after I rented them out to her.
Exactly! If they weren't the real deal, why'd you make her pay so much?
I didn't want to either, but when I purchased that Smaragdus jadeite, some of my business partners found out. I knew they'd be watching closely to see how much I could make off it. If word got out that I sold a pair of fake hairpins, then my days in this line of business would be over.
All right, let's cut the appeals phase right there. I failed to see what bearing any of this has on your transaction with my client. According to the contract, you must pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original price in Mora, and that is final.
10 times?
Kroso looks like he could faint any second.
As for me, according to my contract with Mr. Chow, 20% of that sum will go to me.
20%? That's as much as I spent on that Smaragdus Jadeite!
There's no need. It's fine. You don't have to pay me that much, Mora. Even if the Smaragdus Jadeite on those hairpins was fake, I still bear responsibility for losing them. Legally or not, I think I owe some compensation for that.
Ms. Jichao, you...
However, Mr. Crossell, since you have no use for that chunk of Smaragdus Jadeite, why don't you give it to me instead? I'll consider us even.
What? But all right then. This cursed rock's brought me enough grief as it is.
Miss Yanfei, I'll turn the Smaragdus Jadeite over to you. I trust that it will suffice as remuneration?
Well, that's not quite how the rules say this should go. But whatever, it'll do.
Thanks so much for your help this time, Miss Yanfei. When you have the time, I'll be sure to visit and express my thanks more appropriately.
Oh, come on. No need to stand on ceremony. Now, if I may confirm this again, Mr. Chow, have you and Mr. Crossell come to an understanding?
Well, yes, I believe we have.
Well then, that's good. Mr. Crossell, it seems that my client has no further claims against you.
Is that so? That's good. That's good.
Actually, Mr. Crossell, I'd like to talk business for a second if I may. I could see from the hairpins you produce that you're very skilled in jewelry design. My family, on the other hand, works in the ore business, and we have a fair stock of fine ores. If we could join forces, your jewelry designs and our choice ores, I think we could do some fine business between us.
Let me think for a moment.
Well, that's that. And we've got the Smaragdus Jadeite that Granny wants too. All's well that ends well, eh?
Exactly. Usually when someone tells us they've lost something, we end up searching all over the place for it. But this time, you managed to solve the problem with just a big stack of documents. Even though the solution didn't involve actually finding the hairpins.
The right solution depends on your perspective on the problem. The objective of my client, Mr. Chow, was to reduce her liability to pay compensation. So, rather than looking high and low for some hairpins, proving that the rented item was nowhere near worth what the vendor had claimed it to be was the more efficient solution. An Adeptus. Speaking of, you took part in that battle, didn't you? In which case, you would have heard what Granny said. Liyue Harbor is now a city ruled by humans. The title of Adeptus means precious little to me compared to my job as a legal advisor. In any case, don't you think that the Liyue Harbor of today needs legal consultancy far more than it needs adeptal powers?
Paimon can think of someone who would definitely disagree with your reasoning.
Well, since we got what we came for, it's time to pay Granny a visit. I bet she's been on tenterhooks for a while now.
We're way behind schedule.
You've returned. How did it go? Were you able to find the Smaragdus Jadeite? Good, good. Then we have all the materials we need.
Well, if we're all set, Granny, I'll get going now. Got a ton of clients waiting for me back at the office.
Oh, you? All right then. Go see to your business. Granny should be able to handle the rest.
I'm off then. Bye! Oh yes, Traveler. Make sure you don't lose the business card I gave you. I've been looking into the laws of other nations as well. If you should ever bump into any trouble with the law, come find me directly. Regulars get discounts too.
Come now, child. Are you leaving or are you not? If you have no wish to leave, perhaps you'd like to help me clean my teapot, hmm?
I'm leaving! I'm leaving!
That child. Goodness knows where she learned to be so rambunctious. Her father was hardly so riotous or fond of talking nonsense back in the day when he stood beside Rex Lapis. Ah, indeed she is. Liyue has changed, and the Adepti must also learn to change. Yanfei might be overly garrulous, but she is also the most intimately acquainted with the city among us all. Ah, Liyue is not the same place I once knew. All right then, let us speak of this no more. Back on topic. I believe that I still owe you a little gift.
Oh, Paimon's so excited! How is it made?
It is but a single teapot. It shan't take long at all. Just wait here for a moment. There we go. This Serenity pot is all yours now. Hold it firmly. If you were to drop it, oh goodness, who knows what might happen. Take these blueprints with you as well. You'll need them if you wish to make your teapot a little more lively inside.
Wait a minute, Granny! How exactly are we supposed to use this teapot?
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I've already arranged for a certain little helper to await you within this teapot. She will explain everything you need to know about it.
This is a peaceful neighborhood.
Wow! This teapot seems even bigger inside than Madame Ping's! There's even a great big house in the middle, too! Huh. But there's just a whole load of nothing around it. Paimon can't do that! Well, you're the one with the... Still, why is it so... Oh, wait a second. What is that?
Should we really be off work this early? There is still a lot left to do.
Well, it seems that we have a visitor. It's a huge finch! Excuse me, I am not a finch. I am a teapot spirit, and you may call me... hang on a moment. What am I supposed to be called again? Oh, call me. I suppose you may call me Tubby. So you're the little helper Madam Ping mentioned? Madam Ping? Oh, you must mean Ping. Yes, she did summon me here. She told me much about you. You may leave all matters regarding the upkeep of this realm to me. Your journey may be far from over, but at least this way you will not want for a comfortable place to sleep each night. Though it is the Adepti who create realms such as this, they generally do not have the time of day to attend to the banal matter of their maintenance. Thus, we teapot spirits were created to help guard their realms and manage their affairs. You may consider me a butler, if you will. Now, allow me to explain this realm to you. Have you any blueprints on you? Specifically, blueprints with beautiful rooms, chairs, and the like. As long as you have a blueprint, you can refashion this realm however you please. Blueprints? Oh, that's right! Granny handed us some when she gave us the teapot, didn't she? Let's take them out and have a look. Yes, these are the blueprints I'm talking about. Go on. Just commit the image of the objects to memory and prepare the necessary materials. Then simply release the thought from your mind and the object in the blueprint shall appear within this teapot. Wow! Is that all it takes? Then we could build a whole city inside, couldn't we? I doubt it. A golden-eyed adeptus explained this to me at some point in the past. He said that even though subspace creation is a product of adeptal power, even that has its limits. This world is not a true one, after all. It provides merely a moment of brief respite from the mortal realm, not a means of escaping it entirely. A golden-eyed adeptus? Paimon wonders who could that be? I hardly remember myself. What's more, I have never seen that adeptus again since. Well, let's not dwell on that. Have a look around. Best you get accustomed to this realm. If there's anything you would like to ask, just look for me. If you lie on the grass, you can feel the heartbeat of the world. It's so nice to de-stress.
Maybe you're not used to the place at the moment, but once you've materialized enough rooms and furniture through subspace creation, it will feel just like home. Should we really be off work this early? There is still a lot left to do. you're not used to the place at the moment, but once you've materialized enough rooms and furniture through subspace creation, it will feel just like home. you're not used to the place at the moment. Maybe you're not you. Maybe you're... If you ever have...
We're way behind schedule. Behind schedule. Next on the agenda.
Maybe you're... If you ever have any questions...
Way behind schedule. behind schedule.
Everyone can hear your voice.
If only we had some.
Next on the agenda.
Situation.
We're way behind schedule.
Stabilize!
For Rex Lapis! No, my sword! Off we go! Go in! Let's light it up! Ring cutter rain outlines your face. Body and mind.
Solidify!
Body and mind.
Gather!
Rain outlines your...
This is order! Solidify!
Let me lead you.
Stabilize!
Everybody stand back! Rain outlines your face.
Stabilize!
Body and mind.
Solidify!
Off we go.
Solidify!
Off we go. Let's light it up! Rain outlines your...
Stabilize!
I'm going in! No, my sword! Witness the power!
Solidify! Order guide you!
Adventure time! Rain outlines your fate.
Gather!
Let's light it up! Adventure time! Off we go! Why do they never miss? Time to act. Body and mind. No, my sword! Let's light it up!
Stabilize! Solidify!
Rain outlines your fate. Adventure time! Teamwork is dreamwork! Off we go! Adventure time! I have taught you everything I know.
Next on the agenda.
Solidify! Stabilize!
Let's light it up!
come from? Let's go find some treasure. Weather is not bad today. Oh, crud. I jinxed it. Now it's bound to rain.
Hi, Catherine. It's us. Any new commissions?
As a matter of fact, there's one that looks perfect for you two. Uncle Dai is one of the foremen at Huishan Hall over in Liyue Harbor. He's hoping the Adventurers Guild can spare some manpower.
What is it we have?
I believe you'll be looking for workers.
Ooh, looking for people? Awesome! We're good at that!
I have no reason to doubt your abilities. I'm sure the details can be worked out face to face.
Here to serve.
Off we go!
I am indeed. Ah, now then. You must be the adventurers assigned by the guild.
Huh? How could you tell?
By the clothes on your back and the look on your face. Experienced adventurers at that, I'll wager.
Right again! You're pretty perceptive!
In this trade, you need a sharp eye for people, not just rocks. Uncle Dai can see what you're made of from a long way off. Alright, my assistant should be arriving soon, so let's just wait here a moment.
Woo-woo!
Well, to tell you the truth, this is a...
So there is someone else! Do you think we're not up to the job?
It just occurred to me that you don't have all the facts. The incident in question happened in a mine, and it's a little out of the ordinary, to say the least. Mines are dangerous places, as I'm sure you're aware. As such, I've enlisted an industry expert to cover all contingencies. Last time I checked, adventurers weren't experts in ore appraisal or geological analysis. With a professional by your side, everything should run smoothly. Besides, this guy's the best in his field. No matter the rock, he'll tell you its value to the nearest mora at a glance. I'd go as far to say that there's not a soul on Tevat that knows rocks better than him. I'd be a fool to not enlist an expert of his caliber.
You're a fool if you think you found Tevat's #1 rock expert.
Oh? And why might that be?
Because Tevat's #1... Ha-ha! Didn't expect that, did you? Wait here, we'll go fetch him. Puzzle that Zhongli is listening to the storyteller. Let's head over.
What about the pickpockets?
Adventure time! Off we go! Adventure time!
In our last tale, Rex Lapis.
Zhongli, there you are!
Oh, here for a few tales? I didn't know you two were connoisseurs.
Oh, no, we're here for you! Do you have time?
Ah, something I'm rarely short of.
We need someone who understands geology and ore!
Someone who understands geology and ore.
Take a look around. Is there anyone in Tevat more qualified? The requester claims to have enlisted Tevat's #1 rock expert, but Paimon doesn't believe a word of it. Nobody understands rocks better than you.
You appear to have taken his claim quite personally on my behalf.
Oh, no. It's just... Uncle Dai doesn't know what he's talking about. Paimon just wants to enlighten him.
I see. Well then, it will be my pleasure to accompany you.
Really?
But I should inform you that despite my expertise, I cannot necessarily claim to be a leading authority. We are at all times adrift in a sea of learning. New knowledge should be welcomed with open arms. Still, I imagine I will be of help to you in this endeavor. If we do encounter an expert, I look forward to broadening my own understandings.
Stop being so modest, Zhongli. Well, we got him. Let's head back to Uncle Dai.
Need another handsome sum today?
A toast to our success.
Adventure time!
There. Don't be shy.
Uncle Dai, we're back!
Oh, and this must be the friend you spoke of?
Yep. Paimon doesn't know who your rock expert is, but he's got nothing on our guy.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Still, I do have a claim to some experience in this field.
Uh-huh, so you say. Wait till my guy gets here, then we'll see. It's no use me singing his praises. You'll have to see for yourselves.
Is this the place?
Aha! Speak of the devil. Allow me to introduce my assistant, Kun-jun. Young Kun, these are 2 adventurers assigned to us. And as for this gentleman... Wangsheng Funeral Parlor's consultant. Mr. Zhongli. I've heard about you. They say you're a man of great knowledge and many talents. I had no idea I'd be meeting you in person today.
I'm sure I recognize you. Have we met at the parlor? Wait, I've never been to the parlor.
Uncle Dai, aren't you gonna test them?
Huh? I wouldn't know where to start.
Then they can figure out a way to test each other. If Zhongli wins, he's the assistant. If Zhongli loses... never mind, Zhongli won't lose.
A contest? Why, it would be my pleasure.
I admire your enthusiasm, good sir.
I must say, you certainly have the look of an industry expert about you. It'll be interesting to see which one of us wins.
Stop talking the talk and start walking the walk.
I'm just saying it like I see it, which is incidentally the only skill I have worth talking about.
So you're an appraiser, Mr. Kunjun?
Well, no. Actually, I've already forgotten what I'm in Liyue Harbor for. I was standing by the side of the road one day when Uncle Dai called me over. He saw me holding a rock and asked me a few questions. He seemed incredibly excited, even followed me for a while. We arranged to meet here.
Huh? How could you forget something like that?
I saw him on my way over to Liyue Harbor, poring over rocks and muttering to himself. He looked to be very familiar with them. I asked him a few questions out of curiosity. To my surprise, he knew more than me, an old mining foreman. In any case, he didn't have any pressing matters and agreed to help me.
So, do you have a poor memory?
Not exactly. Anyway, if it's rocks you need help with, I can most certainly lend a hand. Mr. Zhongli, what do you make of this rock?
A glossy exterior, with a fissure that could only have been left in the wake of a volcanic eruption. If I'm not mistaken, this is a rough gem from another nation.
Ah, a keen eye.
It's no ordinary rough gem. Fragile surface layer, black veining. My intuition tells me that there's high-quality crystal ore inside.
Remarkable! This rock does indeed hail from the vicinity of a volcano. I came across it in a market and snapped it straight up. The seller thought it was some leftover industrial remnant. They had no inkling of the treasure. Purity and geological rarity alone aren't enough to make a treasure. Some of the most precious crystals contain deposits of water or sand. In the moment of its formation, the crystal hidden within this stone shell captured a pocket of water. For water to be hidden in its depths, like a moon concealed within a mountain, reflecting shafts of daylight that make it through. Now that's a rare treasure.
Such a detailed description. Almost like he saw it with his own 2 eyes. Say, you're not trying to hoodwink us, are you? After all, we haven't even seen what's inside yet.
Everything he said is true. Most crystals are born in high-temperature environments. Heat and water aren't natural bedfellows, of course, which is why crystals with water deposits are so sought after. Moreover, this particular crystal contains mountain lake water. A rare...
Well, if Zhongli says so, it must...
I've yet to encounter anyone with a judgment as shrewd as yours, Mr. Zhongli. How did you know exactly what lay within?
I've seen many such stones in my time. I recognized it immediately. I hope you didn't mind.
Of course not! I feel I've met a kindred spirit here today. I hope you will accept my Uncle Dai. It would be a mistake for Mr. Zhongli not to join us. Trust me when I say that his level of expertise is unrivaled in the trade. You won't come across another of his caliber in your lifetime.
Very well. There is strength in numbers, after all. Everyone, follow me to the chasm. There are men counting on you to find them.
Off we go!
Purify!
Let's light it up! Blaze over! No touching!
We're way behind schedule.
Whoa, this mine is huge!
This is where the incident occurred. 6 days ago, a group of us left the site to attend to other matters. When we returned, the 4 men we'd left behind had vanished. I led a team around the entire mine, but found no trace. That's when I decided to enlist help.
So 4 miners have disappeared.
Yes, there were 10 of us. We lost Long, Bold Sen, Brave Sen, and Mao. I worked with all of them.
Workers in this trade are usually young men in the prime of their lives. Could it be that the 4 of them left for another mine?
Unlikely. There's no other lodging for miles around, and we didn't pass any other mines on the way over.
Huh. Such a huge mine. Did you really manage to explore every corner?
Underground, overground. We left no stone unturned. We tried everything short of digging further into the earth itself. How could we...
We'll need to explore the site ourselves before extracting any conclusions.
Very well. I'll wait here. Please, proceed wherever you'd like. If you come across any clues, let me know straight away.
So strange. How could the 4 of them just suddenly disappear? Did they run away from something? Over here! What's this? A pile of shirts, some trousers.
A few everyday items. They must belong to Uncle Dai and his men.
1, 2, 3, 4. Huh. That seems right. 10 shirts, 10 pairs of trousers. These must be spares, right? Look, Uncle Dai's clothes are identical.
The 4 of them have been gone for 6 days without a change of clothes.
There's also a few handkerchiefs and some soap lying around. Oh, and some tool belts.
Items for washing one's face before the dawn shift. Mining equipment.
So, they didn't take any supplies.
Correct. Improbable. There are 4 pickaxes missing. It seems likely they left with the tools of their trade. They had time to take their tools, but not their everyday items? Curious.
Huh. Why would someone set off with their tools, but leave their luggage behind?
1, they were working close by and didn't need to move their personal effects. But seeing as they've yet to return, this seems an unlikely hypothesis. Or 2, they were forced to leave and had no time to think about their supplies.
Oh.
It's certainly a possibility. We'll need more clues before any further inference can be made.
If they didn't leave, maybe they were made to leave. Let's look around first and see if we can find any clues. Kunjun, what do you have there?
Oh, right on time.
Did you find anything?
There's a chunk of ore here. Perhaps there are clues within.
Or, what does it have to do with the disappearance?
Let's find out. I'll give it a try. A moment, please. Okay.
Looks like concentrating really hard. What's he up to?
I see 4 men following someone out of the mine. It looks like a child.
A child? What's a child doing in a mine?
I'm not sure.
Also, how did you...
Oh, I don't mean see in the traditional sense. I would appreciate it if what I'm about to tell you remained a secret. It's a little odd. I can perceive the memories of Or.
Huh?
Perceive? So there's no conjecture at work?
You mean you can put your hand on a rock and boom,
I've always sensed that Or contains memories. Sometimes it records events that occur in the surrounding area.
Amazing! So you can find out everything that ever happened there.
It depends on the ore. Some ores have astounding memories. Others, like iron ore and white iron ore, aren't up to much. Their memories are hazy. Core lapis...
Stone seeing. Fascinating. A rare ability indeed. It was prudent of Uncle Dai to recruit you, Mr. Kunjun.
I'm glad I can be of assistance. Based on what I saw, I believe they followed this path.
This will take us north, away from the mine.
North. Another clue for Uncle Dai. Let's make a note of it.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes. I don't know what happened. The weather was gloomy that day. The foreman left with a few men. I stayed behind with the other 4. After a while, I decided to take a break, just to catch my breath. I ended up falling asleep in the shelter inside. When I woke up, there was no sight of them. I'd only just been speaking with them and suddenly they'd vanished. Maybe I'm next.
So the men that were out working disappeared, with the only one left to tell the tale having been asleep in a shelter. Perhaps an accident occurred on site.
What a scary thought. An on-site accident. We should note that down too. Found some clues. Time to report back to Uncle Dai.
You're back. How are the investigations going?
We found 3 clues in the... First, there are 4 missing pickaxes, yet everyday items are still in their place. This suggests that your men didn't leave of their own accord, but were forced to.
Forced to? But who...
Who indeed? Second, there were 5 workers at the mine. One of them left the site to take respite. When he awoke, his colleagues had those who kept working all disappeared.
Now that you mention it, I recall Bravo 6. Could someone have entered the site and simply walked away?
This leads me to my third point. Mr. Kunjun here made good use of his, expert techniques to arrive at a conclusion. It was a child that took your men away.
A child? But there are no settlements here for miles around. There's no way a child would have made it over to the mine.
Unlikely as it sounds, that's our conclusion. Your men were following a child.
Where did they go?
We believe that they followed the road north, away from the
North? Right. I'll rally my men and head in pursuit. You've been invaluable to the investigation, but leave the legwork to us. If we set off now and make haste, we might be able to catch them.
Not so fast. The incident occurred 6 days ago. Even if they set out on foot, they will have covered a lot of ground by now.
You're right. New plan. I'll lead my search party over to the settlements further out and make some inquiries. There are only a few settlements around here with lodging for the night. We'll go investigate, and in the meantime, you could keep looking for clues. If we don't see each other...
Agreed.
All right. Me and my men will get going.
So, they're gonna talk to the people over at the settlements while we keep investigating here.
Correct.
But they're...
Wait. I believe we're missing someone.
Huh? Oh, yeah! Where's Kunjun? Paimon Betsy's... for? We're all out of clues. Let's get going.
Apologies. I'm conducting a quick search for my own benefit. I'm looking for a precious stone known as Dragonfall.
Dragonfall? Dragonfall is often used in forging. What use do you have for it?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't recall why I'm seeking it. I've been feeling very absent lately. Name and addresses. In fact, I've been feeling extremely anxious. As if there's something I've forgotten to finish.
Oh, Paimon knows that feeling. When you know you've forgotten something, but...
I don't even know where to start with it. I've been aimlessly wandering. That day at the market, I overheard a conversation while I was buying something. They mentioned Dragonfall. It sounded so familiar to me, as if whatever it was I had to do was linked to that stone. So, I decided to look for some. Perhaps if I can retrieve some, I'll remember what it is I have to do.
I see. If I am able to during our endeavor, I will help you look for this stone.
Really? Oh, thank you, Mr. Zhongli. You're too kind.
Think nothing of it.
Shouldn't we get going?
Heading north from the chasm, we'll reach Lingju Pass. If this is indeed the path they chose, there will be traces.
Great! Let's have a...
Next on the agenda...
Wait! There are tracks here! These must have been left by the miners!
Let us make our way to the end of Lingju Pass. If there are no footprints there, it would suggest that the miners are still within the pass itself. However, if we find new tracks, we can follow them wherever they may lead. It would appear that they made their way through Lingju Pass and kept moving.
If we follow their footprints, we should be able to find where they went. Oh no, the footprints end here.
We should inquire with anyone nearby. If the miners came through here, they may well have seen them.
Hi there! Have you...
A miner? I'm afraid not.
Let's try some...
stop bothering me. Can't you see I'm cloud watching?
Jeez. Whatever.
Stabilize! Be a killjoy! We've only just begun! You can't run! Well, neither can I. Don't be a killjoy! We've only just begun! I miscalculated.
It must have been about 4 or 5 days ago. There were a few men who came through here carrying baskets and picks. I guess that could have been them.
Yeah, that's them!
4 or 5 days ago. It appears that they were moving slower than we'd anticipated.
It was so strange. 4 big guys with lifeless expressions. It was like they were in some sort of trance. And there was a child staggering in front of them.
Huh. This child. Did you see what they look like?
I caught a glimpse. Blue hair, short. I think it was a girl. She wasn't smiling. In fact, she looked very serious.
And they took this road?
Yes, they followed it straight from here.
Let's go after them. More footprints. There's a person over there.
Help! Please save me!
Is that one of the people we're looking for? Oh, rescue first. Ask questions later.
Stabilize!
Rain outlines your fate.
I'm going in.
For Rex Levis! Body in that, let me lead you
Those monsters were so aggressive. They must have noticed me walking through. Before I knew it, they were all over me. My name is Wanyu. I belong to Liyue's Shangyu Hall. I head up our human culture and civilization research.
Huh? You sure you're not a minor?
A minor?
Yeah, we're looking for a group of 4 strong fellas.
I think I saw those people.
Really?
Yes. I set off from Nantianmen the day before yesterday, heading for Lingju Pass. About halfway there, I came across some people. A few men and a child. I was in a hurry. I didn't get a good look. I'm afraid I'm not even sure what they looked like. A pup.
I think that's all we needed to hear. Thank you.
I hope it's useful to you. I'd better get going. There's a
According to this scholar, the miners were heading for Nantianmen.
Can we be absolutely sure that it was the men that we're looking for?
A child with a group of adults. Sounds pretty close to Paimon. What?
Hey, perhaps that rock over there can tell us more.
Aha! Paimon!
It looks promising. I'll do my best. It's the same group, all right. They followed this road.
Mr. Kunjun, your stone seeing is something I won't forget in a hurry.
I suppose it is an asset, though I rarely find a use for.
It's a good thing we brought our Kunjun compass along.
You think so? I guess it's been a work. It feels like we're cracking a criminal case. It's a lot of fun.
Be that as it may, we 4 fully grown men in a...
Oh, you're quite right, Mr. Zhongli. We should...
That's not all. Our scholar was attacked by Geovishap hatchlings, but the level of aggression they exhibited was unusual. We have encountered many clues along the way. The miners headed in the direction of Nantianmen the day before yesterday.
Great!
I left a mark...
Clever thing. Hey! Over here on the ground! Is this one of the...
There's a basket lying here, too. This must be one of the miners.
Hey! Hello? Can you hear us?
Judging by his appearance, he must have collapsed from exhaustion.
Should we wake him up?
I can still dig.
Sounds like he's whispering something.
It seems that he thinks he still has work to do. Something's not right. There's a camp nearby. We should take him there and monitor his condition before deciding our next move.
How is he? He won't die, right?
He's worked himself into a stupor. Thankfully, he's not in serious danger.
Paimon heard him talking about digging for something. Did he dig himself into this state?
It's certainly a possibility.
It looks like there's something in his pocket. Are these ore fragments? I just witnessed the memories within these ore fragments. This person brought these fragments out of the mine. He's one of the 4 that we're searching for.
How he came to be here is what we need to understand.
So he was kidnapped and then abandoned here. But if they didn't need him, why bring him all the way out here?
Unless something happened. Something that led him to fall behind.
Ugh. Paimon's had enough. This is too mysterious.
Oh, wait a moment. Seeing these fragments has jogged my memory. I have something for you.
What is it? Ooh, is it a present?
Something for us?
As I mentioned, before I met Uncle Dai, I was in a daze. After setting out with you on this case, it feels like I was so happy when Uncle Dai enlisted you to help. These are some crystals that I bought from the market. Not any old crystals, mind you. This purity is extraordinarily rare. One for each of you.
It's beautiful. Oh, and the colors...
But of course, take it. And this one is for Mr. Zhongli. Huh? Is something wrong? Not to your liking?
On the contrary. I just hadn't anticipated receiving a gift during the current circumstances. But thank you. I will take good care of it.
I'm pleased you like them. It's nice to be able to give a gift that others can appreciate. Oh, I see more rocks over there. You should all get some rest.
You sure like...
Ores are the get some rest and call me when you're ready to set off. I won't be far.
Rest easy. I surveyed the area. There's no danger here. Oh, however, there is something I wanted to discuss with you.
Huh? What's with this...
Traveler, does Dragonfall mean anything to you?
You mean the Kunjun's looking for? What's so special about it?
Dragonfall is an incredibly rare ore used in forging. The majority of regular crystals are formed in high-temperature environments. Dragonfall, on the other hand, is formed as a product of elemental reactions.
Elemental reactions can produce material objects?
Dragonfall first emerged in the midst of a great battle, thousands of years ago. Powerful clashes of elemental energy gave birth to elemental crystals. When the fighting ceased, these geological remnants were miraculously preserved.
Cool.
And yet they are crystal creations all the same. Few and far between, relatively unknown. A few hundred years ago, they were virtually mined into obscurity. Why is it then that a citizen of Liyue now wishes to strike upon ore that has long since vanished from the earth?
Yeah, if he knows of its existence, surely he knows all of it's already been mined. Weird. Paimon doesn't get it.
There are those in the mining trade who retain a keen interest in Dragonfall. But for someone like Mr. Kunjun, whose motivations for seeking it are unclear even unto himself, it's practically unheard of.
Ulterior motives? Is he a villain?
A conclusion that is presently impossible to reach. We must watch and wait. Don't forget, rescuing those miners is the primary objective. As for anything else, sooner or later the tide will reveal the lie of the land. We're drawing closer to our goal. I believe we should continue to follow this road through. Now that we've found one, the others won't be far away. When you're well rested, call Mr. Kunjun over to us. We still have more investigation ahead. We should ensure this
Body and mind. Body and mind. Time to act. Time to act.
No problem. I'm done here.
Any results, Mr.
There are many beautiful rocks here, but nothing out of the ordinary. Then again, the memories of ore can shift with the past. Difficult to say. I feel that ore memories tend to be from the recent past.
So there's never any ancient memories?
Rocks endure, but as eons pass, their memories are erased. Those memories that survive are rooted in powerful emotion or thought.
That makes sense. It is the same for people.
Indeed. Let's keep going. Wow. Such an immense tree.
And there's so many mysterious-looking crystals up there, too.
This ancient tree. Let's conduct separate investigations. I'll take that area. Perhaps you could survey this section. All right then.
Kunjun, can you see anything worth investigating?
Well, there is this stone tablet here.
Doesn't seem very
Huh. It's worth a try, surely. Let me see. Oh! This is...
Hey, what's wrong?
just a bit lightheaded. It's not...
Whatever. Paimon's going to investigate over there. Why don't you climb the tree and have a look? If you don't try, you won't know. Anyway, you'll be able to get a good look at our surroundings from up there.
Oh.
When has Paimon ever come up with a bad idea, Wait a minute. Paimon can fly.
All of you, come here.
Huh? So quick, let's go see.
Next on the agenda...
This has been newly dug. It would appear our answer is up ahead.
Is that a voice coming from the tunnel?
Compose yourselves. I will lead us in. There is an unusual presence emanating from inside the tunnel. Listen.
The missing miners are here. What are they digging for?
I'm afraid that this whole tunnel is the fruit of their strenuous labor.
That gate. Has it been there all along?
Digging a tunnel to this ancient seal. Had they not been discovered, they would undoubtedly persevere until the gate.
So behind the seal, What do we do? We can't hurt them. What type of monster is this?
Morax, you arrive at my doorstep of your own volition. Excellent. Taking revenge for sealing me away will be all the easier.
So, the little girl is your power incarnate. But if you recall, Ishtar, this is not how we intended for events to transpire.
Waste not your words. Your life is mine. Is once not enough? You would forsake me again?
If that is what you choose to believe, so be it. He who bears the weight of memory is destined to shoulder the burden of truth, as it ought to be.
Amplify!
Adventure Frame Cutter!
Access denied.
No, my sword!
Crumble!
Stabilize!
Morax! You think you can destroy me?
Stabilize!
Off we go! Let's light it up! Rain outlines your fate.
Gather! I will have order!
Experience an eon of suffering!
Witness the power of all hail!
No atonement for finding your pain!
Stabilize!
No, my soul!
Morax, 1,000 years after you sealed me underground, you return for the second time.
You should call it by its name, Azhdaha. Fate.
Fate? Fate? So here lies the wisdom of the gods. Destroy all deemed redundant. Enlist tyrants to ravage the wilderness.
No. You have forgotten.
That voice!
Azhdaha.
Huh? Kunjun?
Morax. It's been a while.
You're...
Azhdaha. The very same.
During the battle, you imbued us with your power.
Yes, it was all I could manage. Forgive me for concealing the truth, Traveler. There were things that only became clear to me upon reaching this tree. Allow me to elaborate. I am not Azhdaha the whole, but a fragment. Heaven and earth, yin and yang, opposing forces. You can consider the existence of me and the Azhdaha you see there to be a reflection of such polarities. We are a schism of the will of Azhdaha.
So there are two Azdahas?
No, it can't be. That's impossible.
When the seal loosened, your power manifested in this world as a child. With this new identity, you were able to vent about the forces that suppressed you. But would anyone listen? Would they even care? That's when it occurred to you. The loosening of the seal constituted an opportunity to strike back. Kidnapping the miners was all in aid of digging to the entrance to the seal itself. Your plan was to launch an attack on both ends, from outside and within, thereby fully destroying the seal.
The audacity! Are you insane? If you truly are a part of me, how is it you find yourself standing on the side of the betrayer?
I was another power awakened with the loosening of the seal. Too weak to reincarnate, but strong enough to possess a human body. I was barely conscious. I couldn't remember who I was. Only the past would elicit a reaction from me. But my aim was clear. Find Morax, and aid him in stopping you.
I had sensed that something was amiss when you mentioned Dragonfall. Had your power been but a little stronger, I would have recognized you.
Don't blame yourself. I have changed beyond all recognition. Only when I touched the stone tablet did I truly remember. It's been so long. A secret beyond all comprehension of youthful humanity and ancient dragonkind. Morax, do you want to tell the tale?
There would be no harm in it. The decision is yours.
You haven't changed. Then allow me. Ajdaha was once a friend and ally of the Geo-Archon Morax, with a lifespan far exceeding that of mankind. However, that which is derived of the Earth is no more or less than the Earth itself. The memories of rocks do not last long. Those memories that survive are rooted in powerful emotion. But as time passes, so these memories fade into obscurity. Erosion is the world's greatest destroyer of memories. Erosion ground Ajdaha's consciousness into oblivion. Slowly, he forgot the face of his old friend, and his memories of defending Liyue Harbor disintegrated. Ajdaha, now incomplete, became irascible, aggressive.
What would you expect? It was humanity that attacked the ley lines that sustained me.
This much is true, which is why you attacked the chasm, why you waged war against Morax. In the beginning, in order to open up new territory and increase production, the citizens of Liyue came to the mountains to mine. Overexploitation caused the ley lines to quake, which brought untold suffering to us. Erosion made us even more savage. No matter how we struggled, we lost the ability to coexist with humanity. We lost all reason. Morax shared with us some of his power to prevent further erosion, but it was futile. Everything returns to dust. It is the natural order, an unstoppable force. And so, we became you. And from your will, I emerged. I am your final contract. Witness the promise between Ajdaha and Morax. You can hate me, but you cannot deny me.
No! No!
I am the remnants of Ajdaha's benevolence, the echo of a contract set in stone. I harbor a
No! This is I, Ajdaha, forged of elemental crystal, bearer of the weight and memories of the earth, older than the mountains and the oceans that decide.
Morax is not an insect.
A lord over insects is nothing but an insect in turn.
You forgot yourself. Nobody held Morax in higher regard than you or I. That which you have forgotten, I hold here in my heart. If you are the memory of the Earth, then I am the memory of coexistence. Of coexistence with humanity. All powers under heaven, rise and fall of land and sea.
A star appears within the wild. A sun ascends as bright as jade. Strange. What is this feeling? And all this?
You are spent, and I will soon disappear. Before I do, heed these words. In the wilderness, snow falls on a spring day. In an instant, it will melt. Even where it is fleeting.
No! That isn't true! I don't accept this as fate!
Perhaps it isn't, but it remains an inevitable misfortune.
More axe!
The little girl vanished!
Are you satisfied, Ajdaha?
I had to make amends. Satisfaction had no part in it. So, Morax, you call yourself Zhongli these days?
I do.
Well, I'm afraid old habits die hard. To me, you're Morax.
As you please.
I never did forget your gift of sight.
I hardly lifted a finger. Think nothing of it.
And yet, you could see. You wouldn't know the yearning of a blind dragon, searching for the sun. A pair of eyes, from Morax to Ajdaha. This, I will remember this.
Your power is nearly spent.
Ah, perceptive as always, my friend.
Shall we get going, you and I?
Surely the pressing matter is still that of the miners trapped outside the seal.
Indeed. Hence the need to get going. To fix the damage left in your wake.
Straight down to...
Time to act, body and mind.
Huh? How did we get here? We need to go back and check on the miners!
Body and mind.
So there you are. My men and I found your clues and followed them straight here. We found Mao in a tent at the campsite unconscious. It seems he'll be okay. Sadly, we found no trace of the other three. Huh? Young Kun, what is...
Nothing. Pay it no mind. Those three miners are over there, in that cave.
Cave? What happened?
They're exhausted, but not in danger. Don't worry.
Right. Well, thank you, all of you.
So you're taking them back to Liyue Harbor?
That's right.
Can I come with you?
No problem. You rescued my men. I'll be happy to assist all of you in any way I can.
Kunjun, we should be calling you Ezda. You're coming back to Liyue Harbor too, right?
Not I. Merely this body. Once I'm gone, the true owner will accompany the miners back to Liyue. Kunjun hails from a family of famous artisans. He too will be famous in time. It would be a shame for someone of his talent to go missing.
You always did have a great admiration for blacksmiths.
Curious how swords and daggers are blind, yet their creators see so much. Perhaps empathy is mankind's proudest achievement after all.
Ezda, I am no longer the Geo-Archon.
I can sense it.
Today I am just an ordinary citizen of Liyue.
Even you met such a fate. Let's get the difficult part out of the way. I cannot guarantee that I won't be awoken a second time.
No matter. If that day comes to pass, Liyue must prepare itself to face you.
And how will Liyue fare without Rex Lapis?
Even without a god above, this remains a nation of men. I was once their god. I ought to be here to witness their rise and fall.
All life is shaped and then ground away by the endless flow of time. You were always the strongest among us. Yet, it would seem that even you have been eroded. That's unimportant. Fate is ordained by heaven. Even if our mission had already concluded, it would, you may live forever, doomed to a lonely existence. Yet, even this is temporary. When you reach the end of time, those people, those past and future relationships predetermined by fate, they will be waiting for you.
I do not pretend to match your rhetoric when it comes to the subject of a life long lived. I fear that the life of an elemental being is longer than any in this world.
Were it not so, you would have killed me long ago, and would not be having to face me again now.
You've brought a smile to my face. When all is said and done, a reunion between old friends is an auspicious occasion.
That day in the chasm, did you hesitate?
A heart of stone is a heart nonetheless. But I am the god of contracts, and was for a time a god of the people of Liyue.
You chose justice, but did not forsake your kindness. You came to me not as an assassin, and so I was willingly sealed away.
The movements of the Earth Dragon can tremble the earth and shake the heavens. With your abilities, even at my full strength, I struggled to confront you, let alone seal you away.
Hence my inception. Do not forget that I was there with Liyue's founder. The face may have changed, but the content of the contract remains intact. Old friend, god of contracts, I hereby honor our agreement.
Thank you, Ezda.
My life is at an end. I will join the eternal flow of time. And you, Morax, you will live for many a day to come.
You're leaving?
If it is fated, Morax, we will meet again.
Yes. Don't be alarmed. He's only asleep.
Whoa. That was so weird. It was like he suddenly...
In fact, We have yet to meet the real Kunjun. He was. Centuries may have passed since then, but events from 1,000 years ago remain
In our last tale, Rex Lapis was walking alone in the mountains. He heard a remote voice, unlike any other, coming from a crack in the earth.
Most of the ancient geo-life forms that live below Liyue are blind, having not seen the sunlight for an age.
The voice was sometimes sad and song-like. Other times it was loud and thunderous. The Lord of Geo searched here and there before finally unearthing a strange stone from the bedrock.
That's how Azhdaha was. I answered his wish and took him above ground.
The Lord of Geo took pity on the rock spirit and carved it into a magnificent work of craftsmanship, a vivid representation of a dragon.
I bestowed him with a pair of eyes to see the world and came to an agreement with him.
With his fingers, he made 2 eyes. Quicker than words could tell, lightning flashed and thunder roared, and a living, breathing dragon soared into the clouds.
I agreed to let him live among the people above ground. But if the day ever came when he brought ruin to order, he would once again be sealed in the dark.
The dragon accompanied the Lord of Geo, fighting campaigns alongside him in the 4 corners of the world. We have a saying to eulogize these events. The crash of a spear brought billowing dust. The mountains and waters made way at the sound. The sight of a dragon bestowed with a touch the promise of rainwater blessing the ground.
A 1,000 years ago, Azhdaha attacked the chasm. I tried to obstruct him, fighting him tooth and nail down the length and breadth of the mine. Finally, I brought him down and sealed him underground. During that battle, Dragonfall was born. Azhdaha could sense the stone. Subconsciously, he wanted to use it to find me. Despite being the victor, I could not claim to be stronger than he. And in his heart, he still retained an ounce of goodwill towards me, towards Liyue, towards life above ground. He was willing to be sealed away, but as the erosion set in, he forgot. Even I cannot avoid it, but there is something I understand better than most. When the door opens, it is time to leave. The greater the power, the greater the danger erosion may bring about. The millennia may come and go, but even a stone may tire. Personally sealing away an old friend. This is just one form of erosion I have endured. People abandon and surrender the things they love to pursue the right path. Perhaps this is the erosion imposed on me by the natural order of this world. That I was a god of mankind. My identity may change, but my eyes will bear witness to the history of humanity.
You still care a lot about Liyue.
Call it part of my duty. I must thank you both.
No worries.
Oh? About what?
Oh yeah, Paimon nearly forgot. So, not long ago, we met a guy called Dane. He told us about Conria and the punishment of the gods. That's when we realized that those events were connected to the person we're searching for. Zhongli, you're a god. You've lived through thousands of years of history. Surely you experienced the incident?
I cannot say.
Why? You can't even give us a thread of information? This is so important to us.
I understand. But I must apologize. This is my contract.
You mean another past grievance? Like the incident with Ejdah? Too painful to talk about?
It was signed before it all began. I have always honored the contract. And kept my silence.
How can you be like that?
You two are friends to me. I can assure it brings me no pleasure to disappoint you. But as the god of contracts, I cannot go back on my word.
Would you be ready to find out?
It appears your understanding of this world continues to grow. There are many events of ages past, many secrets that lie hidden. They have been eroded by time, forgotten by the people, abandoned. But you are capable of finding them and bringing them into the light. Those who come to witness will witness. Those who are born to remember will remember. If you take the same road as that person, there may be more difficulties ahead. But as long as you firmly believe that you are on the right path, everything has meaning.
Only when it snows like this would I prefer to be at home than in a bookstore. Rain outlines it.
Order guides you. Solidify.
I'm going in.
Solidify. I will have order.
Next on the agenda...
Flash Frost!
We're way behind schedule. Next on the agenda... It's so nice to de-stress. If you lie on the grass, you can feel the heartbeat of the world. way behind schedule. We're way behind schedule.
Time for your arraignment! Motion to compel! Inadmissible evidence! Incinerate! Breath of the flame! Motion to compel! Inadmissible evidence! Incinerate! Breath of the flame! I can fix... Teamwork is dreamwork! No, my sword! Let me read you a verse.
Gather! Order guide you.